Okay, let's continue in the word of the Most High. Let's go to Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. In verse 1 it says, "And the hand of the Most High was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Most High, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones." So the Spirit of the Most High took him where he saw nothing but a valley of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they are very dry. So he saw this valley of bones, and they were very dry, like dry bones. So verse 10, getting back to the point, it says, "So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army." Talking about these bones, an exceeding great army. And that's real, because the breath coming to us, this life coming to us, and you look at how we stood up, it became an exceeding great army, as it says. Now, look at Revelation 11:11. Revelation 11:11. "And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them." You see? From those dry bones to become this exceeding great army. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. See? And that's why the Most High said in Psalms 94:16. Psalm 94:16. "Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?" That's a question asked. So the answer is in, one of the answers is we're just reading about them. Another answer is in Wisdom of Solomon, 5th chapter. Wisdom of Solomon 5. And let's look at verse 1. "Then shall the righteous man stand," as we see him. They stood up on their feet, became a great army. "Then shall the righteous man stand in great, then shall the righteous man stand in righteousness before the face of such as afflicted him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be filled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for." You see, so he's telling us, we stand up on our feet. Going back to Ezekiel 37:10. "So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them," where we start to learn this truth. Being enlightened with the word of the Most High. "And they lived." We became a living soul. Instead of being in darkness, we came into the light. "And stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army," as you see today. "Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel," the whole family of Israel. "Behold, they say, our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus said the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Hear that? He's going to bring us out of darkness. Because in the grave is total darkness. First dealing with it spiritually. He's going to bring those out of the grave. He's going to lift them up. Those that have lived by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua and died in the name of the anointed Savior. He's going to bring them up also. First. I'll tell you that in 1 Thessalonians 4:16. And amongst other scriptures. So we go back to Revelation, it says the same thing. And you shall know that I am the Most High, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. I mean, Daniel talked about the same thing. Hold that. In Daniel, the 12th chapter. And verse 2. Daniel 12:2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, is judgment, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Say, 2 Ezra 7:32. 2 Ezra 7:32. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her. And so shall the dust those that dwell in silence. And the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain. Truth shall stand, the laws of the Most High are going to stand, and faith shall wax strong. The belief in the Most High going to wax strong. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be shown, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. They're going to have no power. As it is written. So, going back to Ezekiel 37, and verse 14, and shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live. So, with the spirit of the Most High, in the Mashiach Shai, we're going to live. And I shall place you in your own land. He's going to place us in our own land. This is the Most High going to do. His plan. That's why you look at, men saying they're going to come on, go with me to the promised land now. The Most High says it's going to be His doing. Go to Isaiah, the 60th chapter, and verse 21. It says, thy people, your people, also shall be all righteous. Meaning we're going to be following the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. They shall inherit the land forever. Going to inherit the land forever. Listen, the branch of my planting, hear that? Just the Most High planting us in our land, not man. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, or the Most High's hands, that I may be glorified. Hear that? So when man doing this, he's to be glorified. But the Most High said He's going to do it so He could be glorified. Going back to Ezekiel 37. Verse 14. And shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. So He's going to put His spirit in us, we're going to live. And I shall place you in your own land. Another one. Isaiah 14:1. Another one, Isaiah 14:1. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. The Most High is doing this. And the strangers, these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, these strangers, these other nations, and bring them to their place. Or bring them to the place that they're going to be at in the kingdom of Mashiach Yahushua, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua, for servants, men slaves, and handmaids, women slaves. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. That's the kingdom. Change of the God. Only we're going to be ruling them in righteousness, according to thus say the Most High, in the Mashiach Yahushua. See, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Most High shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. See? That's the kingdom. No more sorrow, no more sadness, no more criminal. All the righteousness of the Most High. His laws, statutes, commandments, His way, and only His way. He could be exalted, not man. Going back to Ezekiel 37 and 14, we're going to get to this, y'all. And shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, the Most High, have spoken it and performed it, saith the Most High. Not no man, but the Most High. He has to get all the glory. The word of the Most High came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick, say, take one stick, and write upon it for Judah, and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick, and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim. This dealing with the southern tribes of Judah, and the northern tribes of Israel, or Ephraim, coming out of Ephraim, the head tribe of the northern tribes. That's why it says, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim. Ephraim represents Joseph. Joseph represents Ephraim. And for all the house of Israel, see, the family of Israel, the northern tribe, 9.5 tribes, his companions. So they say, get Judah, his companion was Benjamin and Levi, and Ephraim, the head tribe of the northern kingdom, his companions, 9.5 tribes. And join them one to another into one stick, see? Got to be joined together one to another in one stick. And they shall become one in thine hands. They're going to become one in thine hands. Remember, the Most High separated the tribes, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, once King Solomon had done what he done in building those idol temples with these strange women, these Gentile women, women of another nation, those Gentiles, and made idol altars, went in there and worshiped with them. These idols. So the Most High split the kingdom under Rehoboam, his son. And Jeroboam was over the northern tribes, so Rehoboam said, hey, we're going to make it worse than, you know, my father, King Solomon, had put upon you. So Rehoboam said, I mean, hey, he went to the elders, they said, hey man, let us stay like Solomon had it. No, he went to his young, you know how the young people are, even to today. He went to them, they say, nah man, make it hard on them. So Jeroboam said, we ain't coming to Jerusalem no more. He made 2 calves. This is who brought us out of the land of captivity of Egypt. So the Most High had Solomon us all, the Assyrian, take them out of the land, the 9.5 tribes out of the land, and they went into captivity. They were dealing with idolatry. Most High said, leave them alone. They dealing with idols. The northern tribes. That's why it's so hard. You wonder why it's so hard for them to come in. Because they were dealing with idolatry. And to get them out of that, they got to really be changed. Become that new man, that new creature. And be diligent in this. So, and we scattered among all nations, people. Not just in the Western Hemisphere, but among all nations. So he said, going back to Ezekiel 37, verse 18. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith the Most High Power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, the head tribe of the northern tribes, 9.5 tribes, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, meaning the other tribes, other 8 tribes, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, the southern tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. So he's telling you again, this is what he's going to do. Bring the 12 tribes together. So we can be one nation and not split as the northern tribes and the southern tribes, but all one nation as the 12 tribes of Israel. And the sticks whereof thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. So that's why he seals out the 12 tribes sign. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. You got to see it. And said to them, thus said the Most High Power, behold, I will make the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. Again, who's going to do it? The Most High. Hear what he said? I, who is the Most High, will take the children of Israel. Not man, but the Most High will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. Going to bring us into our own land. And I will make them one nation. Here it says, I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all. And they shall no more. They shall be no more 2 nations. Neither shall they be divided into 2 kingdoms anymore at all. It will be one nation again. As it was during the time of King David and all before then. Saul and before then. And King Solomon before he messed up. That was the judgment the Most High put upon us. What King Solomon did, let you know how man have power with the Most High. When the judgment come, you'll be jacked up, get jacked up. But the Most High allowed Judah to be his lawgiver to continue to have the laws until this day. Verse 23. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols. See? You get rid of all those idols. You say leave Ephraim alone. The northern tribes alone. They dealing with idolatry. They believe in idols. So it says, neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols. And Judah too. All people caught up in all kind of idolatry. Nor with their detestable things. Nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So they're going to clean us up. So shall they be my people, and I will be their power. So shall they be my people. He said, I will be their power. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. See? We're going to walk in the statutes of the Most High, and do them. We'll have one shepherd over us, and David, the servant, shall be king over them. It says, and they shall, remember the throne of David was given to a Mashiach Yahushua. So Mashiach Yahushua going to be the shepherd that's over us. So when we look at growing in this truth, and these things that's going to be, that's prophesied to happen, hallelujah, to the Most High, that we have an opportunity, people, to be able to be a part of this. See? Look at Acts the 2nd chapter. Acts the 2nd chapter and verse look at Acts 2 and verse 29. Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his scepter is with us unto this day. Therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that the Most High hath sworn with an oath to him that of the fruit of his loins, meaning what's going to come out of his body, according to the flesh, he would raise up Mashiach Yahushua to sit on his throne. He seen this before spake of the resurrection of a Mashiach, that his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption. He spoke on these things in Psalms the 16th chapter. It says, this Mashiach Yahushua hath the Most High raised up, whereof we all are witnesses. Therefore, being by the right hand of the Most High exalted, Mashiach Yahushua, and having received of the Father the promise of the Holy Spirit, he hath set forth this which ye now see and hear. For David is not ascended into the heavens, but he said himself, the Most High said unto my power, who is a Mashiach Yahushua, sit thou on my right hand until I make thy foes or enemies thy footstool. Therefore let all the house of Israel know assuredly that the Most High have made that same Mashiach Yahushua, whom you crucified, both Lord and Mashiach. So, going back to Ezekiel 37, it says, verse 25, it says, and they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they, and their children, and their children's children, forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forever. My tabernacle also shall be with them, with the children of Israel. Yeah, I will be their power, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, the Most High, do sanctify Israel. These other nations are going to know that the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forever. See that? Forever. That's the good news. The Most High going to be in the midst of us forever. And we're going to know him and serve him in righteousness, as it should be, as we're rehearsing, he tells in Judges 5:11 right now. And those that's not, then, and you don't repent, you got the lake of fire waiting on you. But those that do, say, the Most High going to dwell with us forever. And that's what this is all about. And with that, I'll say, Shalom, and hope that was edifying for you from what we had before this lesson in Revelation the 19th chapter. But I feel that our people need to know about judgment and the blessing that's going to come after the judgment, that we can see everlasting life and live forever and ever and ever. If you'd like more information, you can reach me, Priest Thaahwam, Shield of Wisdom. We got next at P.O. Box 20012, Long Beach, California, 90801-3012. Or email me at mreadyforyou@aol.com, mreadyforyou@aol.com, or call me at 562-235-1226. And with that, I'm out. Shalom.